All right, so I've seen this video growing a bit. For you guys who don't know, I had to take a screenshot of a video because I was having a hard time finding this elsewhere, and I didn't want to go to YouTube because I just wanted to do a video. But that's David Letterman up there. If you guys aren't familiar with that, is I'll explain in a minute. And that's Sigourney Weaver. I'm pretty sure everybody knows who Sigourney Weaver is. And this is an interview from a while back. I think it was after Aliens. And it was funny because I hadn't actually thought about David Letterman in years. He's just kind of disappeared from me. I know he had a thing on Netflix or something where he's interviewing people, but I watched the interview. You should seek this interview out. It's making its rounds here on TikTok, but the videos I'm finding have stitching turned off and downloading's disabled, so I can't grab them. But basically, the interview is what I remember most David Letterman interviews being when he was talking to women. They were just horrible. I'm glad he's gone. I'm glad this era is gone. And I say that because if you watch the interview, he talks about her name and says how her name is odd. He's all, Sigourney's a pretty odd name. Did you choose that? Or were you named that? Or like almost in disbelief that she could pick her own name. And she explains why she wanted it. And then from there, he doesn't have any more questions. Like, if there was any substance in that question, the rest have none. He talks about her earrings, talks about her dress. Like, I looked through other interviews, and I remember as well back in the day watching these as a kid because they came on and parents would watch it. And if you were a kid that time, you watched what was on TV or you didn't watch anything. And I remember that if he was interviewing women, David Letterman just could not seem to communicate with them in a non-misogynistic way. Every interview he did with a woman, he could not have a conversation with her. And I remember thinking, like, there was always something about David Letterman I didn't like. And then I remember what it was. He just seemed like a meathead. Like, he wasn't funny. If he was, it was for an old generation. It was not for me. And granted, I was a kid at the time, but even now looking back, I realize he wasn't funny. He was just kind of a jerk. He was a jerk to everyone. And this is a mild interview that he did. Every female person that he interviewed always devolved in him being a sexist prick every single time. And it was almost like he just couldn't stand the fact that the height of his career was a talk show, and these women were getting big budget movies. So I'm glad the David Lettermans of the world are done and they're out of the way. We need to continue to work to keep people like that off TV and out. It was horrible then. It's still horrible now. And I feel like we lost good interview moments with stars because they had to do press junkets with dummies like this. And instead of being able to answer neat questions about the movies they were in or intelligent questions about themselves, instead we get David Letterman asking about her earrings, her dress, and why she picked the name she did. And while, yes, we could extrapolate from the name portion that at least we know that she picked her name and she decided she wanted that, that's great. But I feel like we could have got so much more. And instead the time was wasted. And Sigourney Weaver, to me, was one of the pioneering women in film that was taking non-traditional roles. She was being a stronger character in movies like Alien and Aliens because it wasn't very common for a woman to be the lead in those roles and be the hero. So anyway, just wanted to shine some light on this, just how horrible it is. Go look up David Letterman interviews on, I think it was The Late Show or The Tonight Show. Tonight Show with Jay Leno. It was like Late Show with David Letterman. I forget the name of the show now. It's been so long. But go look up those interviews and see how he talks to the women and see how horrible it is. Keep in mind, too, that there are going to be curated and cut videos like these where there are highlights of when he was out that are cutting off those sexist portions. They're still out there, though. You can find them.